This is the Lead 7 program. Everything's going to be kind of hopefully fluid. I'm going to try a lot of new things in this program. A lot of different exercises. I've been thinking about a lot of different ways to basically develop intuition and develop my ability to give individual feedback and make those minor tweaks that make a huge difference that you probably aren't aware of. So that's kind of my job, is to see that stuff and fix it. The keywords for this program are intuition and individuality, individual expression, individual feedback, individual tweaks. You're probably aware of the Sexual Supremacy Program. It's the home study course. It's exhaustive. It goes step by step through basically every single concept. It's 3 parts. The first part deals with thrust. Second, it deals with awareness. The third part deals with control. The control aspect is tactically what to do. So understanding the sexual process with a woman. I'm going to just give a quick overview and kind of like get us started so that you know where all this is going. This is where we've been for a really long time. There's several places where I explain why this is bad, why that's it's created a separation and a lot of dysfunction, a conflict between men and women. We're in a very unique time in human history where we can now do this. We're struggling with that. This transition is creating a lot of problems. You're seeing feminism being taken to the extreme, turning into like anger against men. You're seeing a backlash against feminism from men. You're seeing kind of men falling by the wayside in terms of career, money, but basically vision, goals. Like, what do I do? I'm a man, so what do I do? It's not really as clearly defined as it was maybe 50 years ago. So the gender roles are totally blurred. We're sitting in offices doing stuff on the computer, and that's stuff women can do. So as a man, what makes you different? And you're seeing a lot of different efforts to figure this out. So you're seeing sort of a men's new age movement, where we're sitting in the forest, beating the drums and sharing our feelings. You're seeing a lot of books being written about, boys, men, there's like The Trouble with Boys. I'm just thinking of all these book titles. Boy psychology. It's becoming evident that like the school system doesn't really cater to how a boy learns. All these different things are coming about because we're really starting to see, okay, there's a problem here. Before it was pretty straightforward. We've kind of grown out of this idea that the woman should be in the kitchen and the man brings home the bacon. We can look back at that and say that's not really right. There's a problem with that too. So that's gone, but we haven't really figured out what the next thing is. And it's this. The reason why is because women have basically equal access to resources. Fundamental difference. In fact, you're seeing more women going into higher education and entering the workforce, moving to urban areas more than men. So that's completely different than any other time in history. And that all started basically like 12,000 years ago. Before that, we're talking about Paleolithic times, hunter-gatherer stuff. Who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of speculation. There's still some of those tribes existing. We can look at them. Some of them are very oppressive towards women. Some of them are more egalitarian. Some of them are matriarchal, where the women have a lot of freedom and power, and women are free to sleep with different men. And so you're seeing there's a lot of different possibilities when you take out the kind of the civilization aspect. It can turn into anything. That's the cool thing about humans, is there's no right. We can just adapt. Our minds allow us to do that. So this is pretty much unprecedented. I don't want to say this is right or wrong, but this can be very exciting and very beneficial to men when we see this and understand this, what this means, what being a friend to women means. Some guys already get this. Some guys naturally understand this. At some point they had an experience, or maybe usually it's a progression of experiences where they realize that women are not their enemy. Women don't really pose a threat. Women can't really hurt you. Of course, there's people, selfish people, manipulative people, men and women. But in general, just the fact that this person is a female doesn't make her your enemy or someone you need to conquer or beat or fight against. Very few men get this, but some men do. And when those men tend to have a lot of control over their sex lives. They tend to be very good at connecting with women. They tend to have way more sex than everyone else. And it becomes self-perpetuating. Women can see this. What happens is you give off subtle cues that you're trying to court women, okay? And then you can give off subtle cues that you're not, that you're seeing this. So, obvious one is, can I buy you a drink? I mean, that's the old cliche, right? Can I buy you a drink is instantly you're going down the courtship road. The problem with courtship, without going, I mean, there's a ton of other places where I explain court, what this word comes from, the royal court, and trying to get the Duchess to do something she probably shouldn't do, right? But essentially, buying a woman a drink is essentially saying, you should not have sex with me. You should not have sex with me, but I'm going to try to get you to do it using, either money and time and effort, or that would be like the chivalrous route. Like it's the same as a dowry, giving a dowry to her dad so she'll have sex, so you can marry her and have sex with her. In the other route, and we've seen this a lot, in the past 10, 20 years, is game or seduction, right? Where you're trying to do the same thing. You're trying to get her to have sex with you while you think she should not do that. But you want to save money. That's pretty much what pickup and game is, right? You're just trying to save money. So, we want to get to here. We don't know what to do. We don't want to do this anymore. Part of this, a big reason why we don't want to do this anymore is because we're finally learning. I mean, if you've been paying attention, if you've been looking at like the, sexual psychology books coming out and stuff, we're seeing like real research into female sexuality that wasn't there 20 years ago. The stuff that we've been assuming about women comes from very biased research. It comes from research that was based on assumptions from conventional wisdom, which was based on women essentially being seen as property, combined with like the religious thing of God doesn't want you to, have sex, which is really propaganda to keep that property paradigm going. So what do we do? Two levels of thinking about leadership. First of all, we can think of it as a transition, which we were in this transition period. So as a collective, as men, as guys in this room who have taken this program and are thinking about these things, as a group, as a gender, as a group within the male gender, we need leaders right now. We need leaders to move us into this. We need leaders in a world that has the great potential for good to kind of evolve and move into like a peaceful era, but we're still dealing with a lot of conflict, selfishness, greed, everything from pollution and violence, oppression. I mean, all that stuff is still going on, but probably less than it was maybe 100 years ago. But the important thing is we have the potential to get past that right now. So big picture, we need leadership. And then on an individual level, with a woman, she's been raised in the courtship culture. So she's in the matrix just like everyone else, except you. So you need to lead her out of that into this. All right. So that's on an individual interaction basis. That's what you're doing with each woman you meet, is a leadership. The caveat to that is, for her, courtship is just a game. She's just adapting. She's just doing what she needs to do to function in this culture. On the inside, she doesn't like this. Okay, she's horny, she wants to get fucked, she doesn't want to be courted, she wants a guy she can be friends with, have sex with. That's what she wants. Imagine your favorite food, and you're not allowed to talk about it, look at it, definitely not eat it. Your inclination for that food is still there. But what you're gonna do over time, over the years, every time, let's say my favorite food's pizza, okay? So every time since, I was a little kid, I talk about pizza, I try to eat pizza, I have horrific consequences. I get ridiculed, I get teased. Even without me even talking about pizza, I have my peers saying, hey, I bet you want some pizza. Look at this girl, she eats, look at this guy, he can't stop eating pizza, whether it's true or not. So, it's kind of a funny metaphor, but it's basically the same thing. So gradually, what's gonna happen is, this frustration of wanting something, but not being able to do anything about it other than hopefully one day someone gives you some pizza and no one else sees. What you're gonna do to kind of eliminate that daily frustration of, fuck, I want some pizza, but I can't, I'm frustrated, I can't do anything about it. I'm just waiting for, So what you're gonna do is start to kind of tell yourself, convince yourself that pizza's bad and that you're good because you don't like pizza because pizza's bad. So now we have this, and this happens here, this happens in the mind, but this part likes pizza. Okay. So we want to talk to this part, okay? And this part is tied to this part. We want to talk to the primal woman, all right? That's why you'll see, probably in your experience, you've seen, a woman saying one thing, but clearly feeling something else. Or a woman telling you she wants one thing, and then you do it, and she starts acting weird, cold, aloof. Doesn't seem to be as horny as she was 2 seconds ago. It's because you're talking to this, not this, not this, not the primal woman. So, for a woman, she's 2 million years old. She's been evolving for a long time. We're talking to the being, the sentient being that's been evolving, that's been in the making since the Big Bang. All right? And that is a physical microcosm of a universal principle, the feminine. Shakti, there's different words for it. So it's easy to get tripped up with this, and that's pretty much this is the matrix right here. This is what you need to do, this is what we need to do as men to get here. This is what we need to do to deal with all the evil shit that's going on. Everything from, I'll probably sound like a conspiracy theorist, but everything from the banks and the, corrupt government, all that stuff. We're not dealing with that effectively because we're sidetracked with this. I need to keep working at this bullshit job that's not serving humanity in any way because it's going to pay for this car so that I can get pussy. All right? That's a very simple, straightforward, like, easy way to see it, but this is happening on very subtle levels. All right. The other level of leadership, and this is where it gets really interesting, is this is what turns women on. So, as a man, you see, whatever your type is. He likes tall, skinny blondes. I like short, curvy brunettes. Everyone has their type, but what you're looking at is her body. So her breasts, her figure, her skin, her hair, her eyes, all these physical cues. That's what you notice, and men are called shallow for that, right? But it's not. It's the opposite of shallow. I mean, there's some pretty incredible wiring for us to size up who we want to mate with. You can see, if the example I give all the time is, you can be walking down the street, and you can see from like one, maybe even 2 blocks away, a woman walking towards you with a sweater on, with jeans on, maybe even with boots on. And you can tell if she's someone you'd want to fuck. You can tell if she's hot, if she's sexy. You can see that. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, I can see things out of the corner of my eye. Like, I'll just sense like some legs and be like, it's pretty powerful. Women are, I would say, women are just as hardwired, and possibly more so, even more aware and scrutinous. Only it's not our bodies, it's our minds, it's how we think. And this leadership is all here. It's how you think. So, she can't see your thoughts, but she can tell if you're doing this or not.